Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's topic has been inspired by the young lady who was abducted on her way to school by a guy who then abused her, and luckily the guy's been caught by the police. And I feel like abuse is so predominant in our community, especially in the black community, to be fair, and we don't talk about it. So let's get right into the conversation. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications, and let's do this. So statistics says that 1 in 9 people have been sexually abused at one point or the other. So essentially 1 in 9 females, actually is the correct statistics, is the fact that 1 in 9 women, 1 in 9, that's mad. That's mad. And the reality of it is, a lot of the people you don't know by just mere looking at them. But sometimes you can identify this because of the way they behave. Not the fact that you're going to stipulate that everyone that has an odd behavior is a result of sexual assault. But it's so common, and it's almost a forbidden topic, especially, in my opinion, in an African household. You have a lot of men who exploit women based on their positions of authority, based on their familiarity with the family. And if a child actually speaks up about some of the things that happens to them, they're almost shushed, and children are put in a position where they should be seen and not heard. And that needs to stop. Parents need to hear what's going on with their kids. You need to have conversations with your children. You need to make them aware of areas they cannot be touched, whether it be uncle, whether it be an outsider, a stranger. And the reality of it is that most of the assaults are done by people that they know. So it puts us in a position where, you know what, who can you really trust with your child? I literally, for the longest time, didn't want children because of that reason, because it felt like I wasn't able to physically protect my kid from any form of abuse. And because of that, in my head, I'm like, then I might as well not have a child and risk that somebody that I trust will do something totally disgusting to my child. And you know what? If you've already been through it and you're walking around with that guilt, it's time to actually open up and have a conversation about it. I've had that conversation. And as uncomfortable and as crazy as it might seem, it actually gave me the closure I needed to be able to move on. And I say this to say the fact that a lot of the times we groom, as a community, our women to be able to dress appropriately, to not lead a guy on. However, we don't do a lot of grooming of men for them not to be the assaulters of the people in question. So it's a case of there needs to be a training and a balance for both male and female to know that no is no in whatever facet. And I think more so, it shouldn't even be a point of play with a kid. It's ridiculous. And I know, yeah, people do have issues and mental problems and that kind of stuff. And that's the reason why we have to be extremely careful who we put and trust our children to. And if you're out there and you've been abused in any way, shape or form, I do actually recommend that you do get some form of counselling and actually release that, because a lot of the times, a lot of people are walking around traumatized and are basically spilling out this trauma to every single person they come in contact with, because it's something that they've internalized and not dealt with. We need to deal with our in-house issues to be able to be full, whole, functional human beings. There's no amount of suppression that will get it get rid of the problems that have happened, that will get rid of the fact that you still feel cringe when a guy comes too close because of what someone else did to you. It's time to deal with the issues. Parents, listen to your kids. Women, speak up about it. There's no need to be embarrassed. There's no need to feel ashamed, because the reality of that, if statistics says that 1 in 9 people have been through it, I'm almost certain that you've been in contact with a victim yourself. And if you've been in contact with a victim yourself, there's no shame. Now it's about us actually finding the healing that we need to be able to move on and be the best versions of ourselves. And brushing it under the carpet is not going to do that anymore. The reality of it is, if you keep brushing things under a carpet, the carpet is going to get a lump and you're going to trip over it. It's going to explode in one way, shape or the other. And I feel like that definitely has a big contributing factor to the dysfunction in relationships in the black community, because we, all of us, 90% of us, and this is me making up a statistic, but I believe that a majority of us have unresolved issues from abuse. And the abuse is not even just limited to sexual abuse, but mental abuse, emotional abuse that we've been through and not actually dealt with. And that's the reason why we're unable to communicate and relate to people on a normal level, because of the problems that we have and the trauma that we have undergone as a people. And some of these traumas are generational. It's the fact that our parents, their parents weren't able to show them love because of the abuse they had. Should, in case they were essentially slaves, and then they've then been able to, like, the fact that I give you the basic necessities of life, I give you food, I give you clothing, that's me showing you love. And again, then that's then passed on to generation to generation to generation, where we're able to have that intimate connection with our people, with our children. And the reality of it is that if there's a dysfunction right from the initial institution that we're part of, the family, then the society has no hope. But we actually can bring that hope alive again by correcting the mistreatments that we learnt as children and not projecting that onto the next generation again. Because we want them to be better. We want them to be stronger. We want them to be whole. And it starts off in the family. It starts off in how we treat our children. It starts off with what we teach them, letting them know their worth, letting them know that if anyone does something inappropriate to you, I am able to hear you out and come to a resolution with you to ensure that that never happens to you again. And if you've ever been in a position where you haven't been able to deal with this or talk about this, trust me, it took me until I got to the age of 21 to be able to deal and speak about some of the things I went through as a 6-7-year-old kid. And you know what, speaking about it was the most liberating thing, because I didn't realize how much hate I had embedded inside of me because of the fact that I knew that someone who was meant to be a uncle figure was actually doing things that they were not meant to do, and knowing the fact that they weren't meant to do it but justifying it regardless. And I was so angry and so bitter, and it almost made me feel like I needed to hate every guy. And then realizing the fact that, you know what, that's not needed. I needed to confront it. And you know what, accept an apology I never got. I know the fact that not everyone is a monster. I know the fact that, you know what, all of that has happened, and it's not my future. It shouldn't define and it shouldn't limit where I'm going to. It shouldn't limit my view of the world. Yes, it's shaped part of my view of the world. It's made me very conscious about people and cautious about people rather. But notwithstanding, it's a case of, you know what, regardless of that story, I am who I am. I am stronger than I ever was. I am a badass, and there's nothing that can stop me. And that's what I want. I want this to be a moment of empowerment for anyone that's gone through abuse. And you know what? We are going to change mindsets one step at a time, and we are going to grow stronger because we're going to deal with our issues head on. Therapy is not a shame. If you need therapy, get it. Because you know what? You are fixing you so you can be the best you. You are fixing you so you don't pass on the madness to your children, to your anybody that you relate with, so that you can be the best version of you and you can give the best version of you to the world. So you know what, I stand here to tell you to be encouraged. Let's deal with this issue hands on. Let's keep our children protected. Let's change our mindset. So let's not forget, I wanted to do a big massive shout out to the young woman who bravely followed the guy who had the girl in hostage essentially. Your braveness to video and record what happened is the reason why the girl was able to be set free at that point in time, and things didn't escalate beyond where they already had. You are absolutely a superhero, and personally I just wanted to say a big thank you, and I'm certain that the whole community thanks you for your bravery. And yeah, let's keep safe, guys. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep looking out for each other, and let's keep building our stronger community. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching my video. Have a blessed day.